Hello and welcome back to our next English lesson. And today we're going to be looking through the model text again, and we're going to be looking at the structural features of a biography. Now, this is slightly different from the one we did before because this is a historical biography. So the person has lived their entire life and we're writing it afterwards. Now, the reason why this is slightly different is because obviously if you're talking about somebody who is alive, you can only talk up until the point at which you're writing the biography. Whereas if you're talking about a historical biography of somebody that has lived and died, you can talk about their entire life from the moment they were born to the moment they died. Now, the other thing to remember in a historical biography is that you have to think about what you know for certain and what you believe to be true, or what is believed to be true. So when you come to write them, and we'll talk about this more in the grammatical features, some of the wording and the phrasing you have to use has to show that it might be your best guess, or it might be an idea. It might be presumed that that's to be the case. It's not known as fact. So let's have a look through. I'm going to read the model text again, and after each section, we're going to pick out the important parts. So let's go. So Christopher Merlo, his biography, circa 1564 to 1593. Christopher Merlo, also known as Kit, was a poet and playwright in the forefront of the 16th century dramatic Renaissance. While Christopher Merlo's literary career lasted less than 6 years and his life only 29 years, his achievements, most notably the play The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus, ensured his lasting legacy. Christopher Merlo was born in Canterbury around February 26, 1564. This was the day in which he was baptised. He went to King's School, it was in Canterbury, and was awarded a scholarship that enabled him to study at Corpus Christi College in Cambridge from late 1580 until 1587. Merlo earned his degree in 1584, but in 1587 the university hesitated in granting him his master's degree. Its doubts were set to rest when the Privy Council sent a letter declaring that he was now working on matters touching the benefit of his country. Now, a little bit of extra detail here. The reason why they doubted or hesitant to give him his master's degree is because he had missed so much time of study at Corpus Christi College in Cambridge. So they believed that he wasn't studying enough, whereas the Privy Council sending that he was working on matters touching the benefit of his country meant that he was probably working for them in some aspect, and that was the reason why he wasn't there. And so they issued him his master's. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the features. So our first one's obviously the title. It's who the biography is about. After that, we have the dates. And these are the dates when the person lived. And again, if you're talking about somebody that's alive, then you'd, rather than have the last date, you'd have till present because they're still around. Obviously, if it's a historical one, we can have the entire time that they were alive for. The next bit, obviously, we have some variety of introduction. So in this case, it introduces who he was, why he was important, and a rough idea of some of the things he did. And this, again, is one of those bits that allows the reader to read that and know what they're going to find out about when they read the rest of the biography. It kind of lets people know whether they want to read on, but whether they're also reading the right biography, for example. So they're the key facts about the person's life. Then we have their early life, and this is normally the time, place of their birth and the first part of their life, normally including their education before they get into work. What you might also get is an interesting event that takes place during that time. And in this case, obviously, that introduction of the fact that he was touching on matters of benefit to his country. Whereas in other people, those interesting facts might come up at different times, might come during his early life, or might come after it. But throughout your biography, you might find that there are several interesting events that happened and you can comment on them as they come up. The nature of Merlo's service to England was not specified by the council, but a letter sent to Cambridge has provoked abundant speculation, notably the theory that Merlo had become a secret agent working for Sir Francis Walsingham's intelligence service. With scant hard evidence and rampant speculation, the mystery surrounding Merlo's service to the Queen is likely to remain. Spy or not, after attaining his master's degree, Merlo moved to London and took up writing full time. After 1587, Merlo was in London writing for the theatre and probably also engaging himself occasionally in government service. What is thought to be his first play, Dido, Queen of Carthage, was written while he was still a student at Cambridge. So the bits we got here is we have to think about the fact that they are in what's called chronological order. And this means the whole biography is time bound. It is in order that it happened within his life. The exception to that is obviously the introduction, which includes what is going on. But each paragraph moves forward in time, letting us know the stages at which he does things. We've got important events. So these, again, are anything that changed what he was doing. This is leading on from the one before. So this is the fact that he's working for the intelligence service, or speculated to be working for the intelligence service, and the fact that he moved to London. Quite often, these important events lead from one change to another within their life. So either from different jobs to different jobs, or from their early life to their working life. Then we have their links to career. So this is how they go from where they were in their early life to what their working life would be. Elizabethan theatre was split into three genres: history, tragedy, and comedy. Merlo only wrote histories and tragedies. His histories included Dido, Queen of Carthage, Edward II, Hero and Leander, and Turbalin the Great. The Jew of Malta and the tragical history of Dr. Faustus were his tragedies. Merlo's most famous play is the tragical history of Dr. Faustus. It is the first dramatised version of the Faust legacy, in which a man sells his soul to the devil in exchange for knowledge and power. The constant rumours of Merlo's atheism finally caught up with him on Sunday, May 20th, 1593, and he was arrested for just that crime. Atheism, or heresy, was a serious offence, for which the penalty was burning at the stake. Despite the gravity of the charge, however, he was not jailed or tortured, but was released on the condition that he report daily to an officer of the court. So the structural parts in this begin with his career and working life. What the person's job was, or the reason why they became important in history. Now, you have to remember, some of the people you're going to write biographies about aren't necessarily going to have a job per se, but they will have a reason for why they might be famous in history. So it could be that their career or working life links to the fact that they were in the army. That would be the important reason why they were important, or it could be other aspects. If they were a king or queen, obviously they're not working as such, but they have an important job being the king or queen in that regard. We also have events that changed their life. So a key event that led to a change in the person's life, and this could be leading to another job, it could be leading to the next stage in their life, the next part of their life story. And in this case, it leads on to the beginning of the death, his end of life situation. Now, important events that change life come up again, much like important events come up again and again throughout, or could do depending on the person. And they are dropped into a biography at those points that happen in the chronological order when we go through a biography. On May 30th, however, Merlo was killed by Ingram Freezer. Allegedly, after spending the day together with Merlo in a lodging house, a fight broke out between Merlo and Freezer over the bill, and Merlo was stabbed in the forehead and killed. Conspiracy theories have abounded since, with Merlo's atheism alleged spy activities at the heart of the murder plots. But the real reason for Merlo's death is still debated. What's not debated is Merlo's literary importance, as he is Shakespeare's contemporary and is second only to Shakespeare himself in the realm of Elizabethan tragic drama. So the parts of this that are important are the facts that we have the end of life events. And these are the events that lead up to the person's death. Now, normally these might just be talked briefly about because the person died in their bed or died from some normal natural circumstances. And therefore it's just the lead up to that to allow us to know how they died. But what you might find is that sometimes it's an important event or an interesting event and they've talked in more detail and we're told when, where, and that sort of thing. So in this case, it's more similar to that. And then we might get additional information to end on. And quite often we do, which just sums up why they're important, what it is that makes them important, and why people should pay particular attention to this individual, what it is in history they were so important for, why they are famous. So, our biography toolkit so far. We have the dates when a person lived, and we have the title of who the biography is about. We have an introduction, which is the key facts of the person's life. Their early life, which is their place and time of their birth and key facts in their first part of their life, usually around their education. We have then any interesting events that happened during that period that they lived through or that changed something that they were doing. We make sure that the part after the introduction is all in chronological order and leads all the way through. We might have more important events that are linked to changes in the person's life, links to their career, why they moved from their early life into whatever job they currently have, their career and working life, events that changed life, whether that is a change of place that they lived or a change in job or a change in circumstance. Then we have the end of life events, what leads up into their death and what's interesting or not about it. And finally, that additional information, that bit at the end, which tells them why they were important, what makes them famous, or what makes it worthwhile reading their biography. So in the next lesson, we're going to look at the grammatical aspects of the biography and see what we can find out from that, and a little bit of practice of the use of some of those. But our short write task today is you're going to do a random word sentence. And I want you to think about all of the grammar we've done so far this year. And I want you to think about what you could include or use within these sentences to make them stand out, to make them more interesting. Now, I've also chosen some interesting words for you to have a go at. So your first sentence must include dramatic, lasting, and awarded. Your second sentence, attaining, provoked, and occasionally. And your final sentence is history's knowledge and released. Now, that last one hopefully should be quite nice and easy. If you want a real challenge, try and put all of these together into a short paragraph. They're all linked together and all the sentences make sense in and of themselves. That's all for today. Good luck with your sentences. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.